Talk 106.7.
Wearing a hat signed by the president himself, Shelley Wynter's voice booms out over the Atlanta airwaves.
So we're talking about the shutdown.
And with every word spoken on his morning radio show comes an opinion.
I am willing to stand behind Donald Trump on the shutdown for as long as it lasts.
For the past month, the federal government shutdown has fueled Wynter's conversation.
And I have family members who work for the federal government. I'll help them.
In December, before the standoff even started, Wynter urged the president to bring Washington to a screeching halt if Congress failed to fund his border wall.
I want it, you want it. We led the chant on this show, shut it down. Right before the shutdown.
When Wynter opens up the phones, callers agree.
I'm an African-American woman, Democrat, who is definitely in favor of the wall.
And even though I've missed 2 paychecks, I'm still for the shutdown for border security.
So what about the regular Americans stuck in the middle of this political impasse?
2 years ago, I got laid off. Where was anybody for me? People get laid off all the time. You're not being laid off. You have a job. You're just not being paid right now. Your paycheck will come.
300 miles away in Charleston, South Carolina, Coast Guard wives Amanda Fortier Morales and Sarah Stevens would disagree.
We're the first branch in modern history to not receive pay. So it's kind of disheartening.
At base Charleston, all seems quiet and calm, but with every passing day of the shutdown, frustrations continue to swell.
We do feel forgotten a lot. We joke about how we're the red-headed stepchild of, the military.
Since the Coast Guard falls under Homeland Security and not the Department of Defense, they're included in the hundreds of thousands of federal workers who are reporting for duty without getting paid.
There would be a riot if this happened to any other branch. But because it's the Coast Guard and we're small.
Days before the shutdown began, Stevens and her husband bought a house. Fortier Morales, a Coast Guard veteran herself, is a full-time student. Both families are lucky to have emergency savings.
Every day, that savings and that plan, it gets a little less comfortable.
But with a second missed paycheck looming, the uneasiness is getting hard to shake.
Stop using 800,000 people and their paychecks as pawns.
These women have been raising money and organizing food banks for Coast Guard families feeling the strain of the shutdown.
It's really hard to pass blame when you're a lot more concerned about feeding your children or keeping a roof over your head. It doesn't really matter who's to blame, you just want a solution.
And until that solution shows up, sailing for many American families could be anything but smooth. Sarah Blake Morgan, The Associated Press.